In your book, you champion getting away from atoms and focusing on bits. In the current issue of Wired, Chris Anderson talks about atoms being the new bits, in the sense that people can send digital files to factories in China which do customized work and ship back real products. Also recently, Google ran an ad in the Super Bowl, whereas Pepsi didn't. Pepsi's spending on a digital and social media marketing strategy, the Refresh Project. The question is, do these examples suggest that it might be useful to move beyond old versus new oppositions and treat digital as a complementary rather than contrasting strategy?
Yes and no. I think some things are just necessarily atoms. And there are new ways to deal with that. You can create the updatable product, and that's a good way to do it, to deal with the atoms, but then to take advantage of what the bits enable. I think the essence of the value shift we see here is in information. That by gathering more information, by knowing more about your market, by knowing more about your product and how it behaves, by knowing more about the needs of your market and how they use your product, by knowing better how to find the right people with better relevance and to market more efficiently, you will take advantage of all that data and all that information to make your business more efficient. And what's going to happen, I think, is it's actually going to lower prices. It's going to have a deflationary effect here because you're also in transparent marketplaces where to sell the opaqueness of pricing isn't going to work anymore for commodity products or products that act like commodity products. So absolutely, digital is a complement to the physical. However, you can also start purely digital businesses today. Google. And media is going to become purely digital and escape the high cost barrier that existed before. That before was the advantage. The advantage of being the only person in town who owned the press is now the albatross around your neck. It is now a cost burden. So where you can shift to a digital business, it's good. Where you can take advantage of the information that comes from a digital age and the ability to aggregate information and learn more and be more targeted, it's good. You're also going to have to recognize that you're in a transparent market, which is going to affect your prices. But you're also going to have the ability to find suppliers around the world, which is going to affect your costs. So I think what happens is the businesses get smaller but remain profitable in new ways.
And regarding Google's Super Bowl ad?
Well, I was disappointed. What I really wish they'd done was remake the old Apple 1984 ad, but this time Steve Jobs was on the screen for being such a control freak. They didn't do that. I also thought it was very odd that they chose to do an ad about romance in France in the Super Bowl. But I've had people yell at me on Twitter saying that this was good for women who were watching Super Bowl, A, and B, that some people cried at the end of it. I didn't. I've also heard, I do a podcast for The Guardian called Media Talk USA, and one of the guests today, Fred Graver, said that what it really was Google saying to the world, they're speaking to advertisers, and they're saying, okay, we're here, big deal, but you got to be with us. And I think that's true because what Google has is relevance. Mass TV has no relevance.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
Sure.